It's the beginning of 2024. We're only 8 months away from CEDIA. And so what new features might we see in new projector technologies coming this year? I have a couple of hopes. So let's talk about those. Let's talk about some of the features that I'm very, very hopeful. Maybe not, we'll see if they can come to fruition or not. But the stuff that I'm hopeful to see, that I would love to see in next generation home theater projectors coming hopefully this year. This is very likely going to be a release year, an upgrade year from the big players. I think JVC, Sony, and Epson could all be dropping new stuff in addition to some of the other companies in the space as well. But I have 4 basic categories of things that I think would be cool to see in a new generation of projectors. I'm curious what you think as well, so sound off in the comments and let me know. So let's go with number 1. We've had HDR, we've now had HDR10+. Why not just bring us Dolby Vision? Now, I think that's very feasible for this to be able to be accomplished. My understanding is that the reason we haven't seen Dolby Vision in projectors so much has more to do with certification requirements and processes, and it's the fact that projectors shoot to a non-fixed image screen size, meaning you can position your projector, and of course, you can end up with a very different screen size than I may have based on your throw distance and your requirements. And that the way that Dolby Vision works, the way that Dolby Vision is spec'd, has specific requirements about how it's to perform at certain fixed screen sizes. One of the reasons that we see Dolby Vision in projectors, but only in fixed size, fixed expected distance, ultra short throws. However, Dolby Vision has basically won, won the HDR space. Dolby is just really killing it this generation. Dolby Atmos has just destroyed DTS audio, and Dolby Vision is so prevalent everywhere, all the streaming services, iTunes video, and so on, that if they can just make it happen in the projector, support it, get it working, Dolby hopefully working on the standards in conjunction with the projector manufacturers, just get it done. It's kind of like the old school idea with receivers and whatnot, when we were all wanting our receivers to send bitstream audio so we could light up DTS master audio and True HD rather than seeing PCM, even though fundamentally it was losslessly the same thing. I think it would bring a lot of just general positive sentiment, peace of mind, and whatnot. I don't think from a performance perspective that it's all that actually really mandatory. But again, let's just complete it. Get the Dolby Vision out there. Get it across the whole gamut of our devices. Kaleidoscope possibly as well. Maybe in a next generation player. Light it up, turn it on, get it done, and let's move on from a lack of Dolby Vision being present in essentially any of our home theater device categories, brands, makes, and models, and just get it pervasively supported. For the second category, I'm going to look for some gaming features. So it's awesome that up to current generations to date, we've had HDMI 2.1, we've had higher HDMI bandwidths to be able to do now 4K 120 in a projector and such. But the thing that we're lacking, the thing that really needs to be there to kind of complete the whole experience is VRR. Now, I don't know how hard from an engineering perspective, because of the processing power, because of the way the display technology works, why or if VRR is an extra challenge or an extra difficulty to implement in a projector versus in a flat panel. But this is yet another feature, another technology that is pretty much ubiquitous now across the television space, the flat panel space, and nobody's brought it yet to a front projection style of device. And so this could be something that sets models apart. If Sony or JVC or Epson, somebody really wants to go after the gaming community, right, the gaming user base with their next generation models, they should really be trying to engineer VRR into their systems. The current generations of consoles that we have make good use of VRR, and I think any next generations would continue to do so even more. PC, of course, it's borderline mandatory, in my opinion, really, to PC game in a home theater environment with a display having VRR. We can already push such awesome horsepower, high frame rates, native 4K resolutions, and all of that with PC gaming, but as of yet, we don't necessarily have the GPU horsepower to get fixed, locked, solid 120 hertz, 120 frame per second performance in our games. A lot of games that I'm running right now are falling in maybe the 90 to 105, 110 FPS range. Playing in the living room on the LG G2 is absolutely magic because VRR cleans all of that stuff up. But that would be a challenge coming down here into the theater. I'm either stuck forcibly rolling back and cutting off my frame rates at 60 hertz, or really dumbing down and reducing graphical fidelity settings in order to be able to play 120 FPS as well. Maybe by the time the end of this year rolls around, we can work around this a little bit. If we've got GPUs like an NVIDIA 5090 series is going to be able to knock a whole bunch of games up to native 4K high settings, ultra settings, and 120 FPS performance. But at the same time, there's always going to be new games pushing the envelope, so just do it. My hat will be off. Kudos. Hopefully, there's engineering teams working on this right now. Just get VRR working in a projector. Make it work. It would be sweet, and it will be a feature of differentiation if one or two of the big three, I think, comes to the market, marketing to gamers that want to game in their home theaters with this feature versus any of the other big makers that don't do it. And at the same time, I hope everybody is focused on latency. Always in a new model of projectors, I think they should be striving to get the input latency, input lag, and all of that down. And let's also kind of get over the hump of being able to use all of the great processing, HDR processing and stuff like that in the projector while also being able to run in a game mode. So I think we just need better processors. We need more horsepower in our projectors to make this happen. TVs are able to do it, right? In our flat panel displays, we can run full resolution, we can run high frame rates with VRR and all these picture settings and HGIG and tone mapping and stuff like that. So bring all of that stuff to the projectors. Don't let us have to disable really great picture processing elements of the projector for the sake of input lag and game performance. We want it all. Just bring it all, make it all work at the same time. Number three, third category that I would love to see as a feature set in a next generation projector is for them to build in some of the processing, that we currently need to go to Lumagen or MadVR to get. The one in particular that I would be after is some type of improved and intelligent aspect ratio, built-in aspect ratio management. The projector is seeing the same image that the video processor is. It's basically software, and again, if these projectors were upgraded with horsepower, CPU power, RAM, and GPU power, the software could be doing some of the things that external boxes are required to do right now. Being able to take the field of the image and shrink it or expand it to bring those subtitles in, to manage differences between 16:9 and scope or interim aspect ratios, 185 to 1, 20 to 1, and etc. If we could do those things natively inside the projector, that would be just absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. And again, if one of you out there, if JVC does it and Sony and Epson don't do this type of a software feature, man, it's just another thing that's going to set the model line apart, delight customers with advanced and involved home theater setups, and just be an absolutely fantastic offering. As much as possible, I think they should be nipping at the external video processing feature set and bring as much as they can, the most key elements, the most important elements, into the projector itself. And I'm not naive enough, I'm an engineer by trade, I'm not naive enough to say that we can pack even close to the algorithms and the capability and the processing power of what's in a MadVR natively inside the projector unit behind me. They're using massive amounts of GPU power to do many of the things that the video processor itself does. But the more basic stuff, again, analyzing the image, some auto aspect ratio management, tie that into a really intelligent lens memory setting, options and all of that. I think it's ripe for absolutely beautiful, awesome, and feature-rich capability, feature development, and I hope we see it in the next generation in some form. And then lastly, I'll just throw it out there, just as a generality, of course, with every new projector model, evolution, and so on, hopefully we get brighter, hopefully we get quieter, hopefully we get smaller and lighter in the form factor. All of these base elements are are kind of just more or less expected to some extent to be present, giving us the ability to, put these things in our systems. As we made the change to laser, some of these models have definitely gotten much larger and heavier. In fact, if I wanted to change my NX7 to some of the NZ models alone, I would have to change my mount because it's not rated for the heft and girth and size and whatnot of some of these new models. So hopefully there's like just a continual evolution of packaging and general performance improvements and whatnot. But part and parcel with that, the other thing that I would really, really love to see the next crop of projectors be able to do is throw even bigger images at shorter distances from the screen. I have my NX7, something on the order, I think, of maybe 17 or 18 feet from my screen. I have a 163-inch ultra-wide scope screen, and I can't fill it. We should be able to fill this size of a screen, in my opinion, from as short as maybe like a 16-foot or a 15-foot throw. Now, I'm not an optics expert. That's not my field of study or expertise. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe this is too hard of a thing to accomplish. But for installation flexibility, I have to believe that people are wanting to go bigger and bigger in their screen sizes, but in spaces that don't necessarily accommodate being able to have the projector 19, 20 feet or more back from the screen. So bigger images at shorter distances, along with better installation, logistics, and so on, is definitely also at the top of my list. So there you go. That's some ideas. I think if we got a bunch of these things in the next generation projector models, man, they will just be looking absolutely sweet. I'm curious what you would like to have. Sound off in the comments. Do you support any of these ideas? What other ideas, what other capabilities do you think would just be awesome in a next generation wave of projectors? Sound off in the comments. Let's discuss. Let me know. Otherwise, please do all that regular YouTube stuff. Of course, like, subscribe, hit the bell, share the video. And hey, if you'd like to support the channel, support Techthusiasm and everything that I'm doing here, there's super thanks, there's channel memberships, leave a PayPal or Venmo tip, or most importantly, please shop with my affiliates. Buy these projectors, current models and the next generation from one of my recommended affiliates, Audio Advice, and so on. I would very much appreciate it, very, very much. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see what happens at CEDIA later on in the year, a scant 8 months away. But come on back for more home theater discussion and fun.